All right, everyone, we have our last conversation for this program. I am so excited to be joined by Richard Nunn, who is the CEO of United MileagePlus. As a Jersey girl, I am a loyal United MileagePlus member, and I have been for a long time. So hopefully this gets me somewhere. But even if not, it'll be some awesome content. So Richard, please join us on stage. All right, we have a lot of news that's coming out of United right now. For folks who are on the Eastern Seaboard, you probably saw the news about United partnering with JetBlue so that you can double up on points. I'm excited because forever I couldn't fly from DC to JFK, and now I can and still get my points. Walk us, is this the first time you guys have done this type of airline partnership like this?
This type, yeah, because it's not a code share.
And what made you do this?
Well, you probably made, if you read the news, it's kind of multifaceted. So it's, we get a bunch of slots at JFK, which is great. So the sort of the north side of the river, east side of the river. They get a couple of slots at Newark. As you said, the loyalty program is dual two-way, so that's awesome. And then they've got a great, and so is that whoever the person speaking before, is that TripAdvisor? Sorry. This point about integration of multiple ancillary sort of non-air travel. They have a platform called Paisley, which is a kind of next step up, and it integrates cars, rentals, cruises, travel insurance in a better way than we have today. So we're integrating that into our platform. And then it's a global first, connected media, which we launched last year. We're going to integrate that into the JetBlue platform. So it's multi-tenanted, but it's super exciting. It's great.
You mentioned connective media. I feel like everybody at Cannes is launching their ad network. It's become a very, very common thing, but in particular for travel companies because of the loyalty programs. What makes your ad network different, better, stand out from the others?
Well, it's our first year anniversary, so we launched it this time last year. I think there's three core things, right? Scale is important. You've got to have scale, and we flew 174 million people in 2024, so we've certainly got scale. The quality of audience is obviously there by definition. They're not bots, they're real people. But also I think where we differentiate with retail media is we have multiple screens, right? So if you think about the travel journey pre, during, and post, so how you get inspired through .com, through the app, in the club or lounge, by the gate information displays, and then back on the app, and then off platform. So multi-channel from a digital perspective. And then when we launched last year, yes, we're an airline, so you think, well, we'll just play in the travel space, and we intentionally didn't. So from luxury to auto to finance to multiple verticals, so we play both brand and performance, which kind of gives us the depth and breadth across the board, which I think does differentiate us in the commerce media space.
So it's interesting. For now, this is just an ad network, but there's a lot of opportunities for you to make this sort of media play even bigger than that. I can think about someone wanting to get a subscription to this where they get loyalty from your United MileagePlus, maybe from Marriott Bonvoy, who you have a partner with, maybe from food concession stands that are in airports. Like, how do you monetize this beyond ads?
Well, it's a great leading question. You probably also heard earlier this year we launched and announced Starlink, and that is game-changing for in-flight. And I was on the, we were doing lots of lab testing, and then I was on the media flight, and it is, we call it breaking the Wi-Fi barrier. It is so fast. And it's so interesting, just your own mindset in terms of how you think that on Earth it's fast, but then you go up in a metal tube and it's like not. So that becomes an enabler for all the things that you alluded to. So yes, we've set up the backbone. We've got a United ID graph. We've got all the ad tech spine for connected media. But that then bleeds into a whole e-commerce world, right? And some of the big partnerships that we've announced and soon to be announced. So we announced a great relationship 2 weeks ago with Spotify. And that's a deep relationship in terms of tech. So their app is fully embedded in the seat back. It's a kind of account linked. You can use your miles as currency to kind of pay for a subscription as well. And if you're listening to a podcast or watching a podcast from your phone somewhere, that account links straight onto the seat back. And if you think about all the scenarios around rideshare, grocery shopping, events, that can all be enabled in the sky in real time. So a lot of stuff to be announced, but that dwell time that on average is about 3.5 hours in the sky. today, sometimes you're a bit paralyzed if you don't have that connectivity, and that becomes real. So all the stuff, we talk about the living room in the sky, so all the stuff that you can do on Earth, you'll be able to do up in the sky. So
Wow. Will we eventually get like showers in the plane?
showers, I don't know, maybe. Probably not that far. I'm not a shower guy. Well, I am a shower guy, but not operationally a shower guy. No, but I just think genuinely it's a big mindset shift, right? Because that expectation of today versus tomorrow is going to be very, very different. So all that stuff can be enabled.
Yeah, and I even experienced this on my own United flight. There's definitely a lot more sort of amenities in terms of the snacks and the different, spritzes that you can put on your faces, which make it feel a little bit more like home. When we think about loyalty and the MileagePlus loyalty program, every single loyalty program is getting harder and harder, and that's because more people are buying into them, so you need to make them more competitive. How do you make someone want to be loyal, even if they're not going to be a big spender?
Yeah, and I think there's a shift, and I joined the business 2 years ago, and I've not worked in the loyalty, or certainly the airline space and the travel space. If you think about loyalty programs, whether it's shopper, airline, it hasn't actually changed in 25, 30 years, all right? It hasn't really moved on. So the fundamentals are still solid and great, but what we talk about is how we enrich a traveler journey. So going beyond the kind of core thing of flying. If you think about how you think about travel, on average, when you think about your own travel, it takes on average 16 hours to plan a vacation. 16 hours. So again, I think the previous speaker talked about AI and how that can inspire you. So yes, you need great content, but also you need technology to help, generate an itinerary and then execute on that. And I used ChatGPT myself to plan my own vacations, and it comes, I want to stay in a hotel, I want to do some culture, beach, whatever, and it can lay out everything for me, but you then can't execute. So how we're thinking about it is how you then execute what you've been inspired to do. Yes, the airline, taking you from A to B is really, really important, and that's the first decision you make. Then how do you surround yourself with all the other things that you can do and want to do on vacation or on business? So that's where we're going to. And you do that, then you provide a lot more stickiness in terms of loyalty, because you're providing beyond the core value of what the airline does.
I think where United has a standout opportunity, and this is why I'm a MileagePlus girly, other than being a Jersey girl, is the Star Alliance, just having a massive international partnership network. Do you walk us through the importance of that Star Alliance network? Because I do believe it is the biggest, right, of all of the airlines?
Yeah, we flew 174 million people. Star Alliance flew nearly 750 million people worldwide. And we are the biggest airline in that Star Alliance group. But we fly to, 330 destinations around the world. So we've got pretty extensive coverage. In context to the other two big American legacy airlines, we fly more transatlantic, trans-Pacific business class seats than those two combined. So we're pretty big. But having that network effect with our Star Alliance partners means that we cover like 98% of every single airport in the world with Star Alliance. So therefore you can get anywhere. And obviously the MileagePlus linkage, so your miles can then be used across the other 24 airlines around the world, both ways. So that gives you massive scale and reach, can provide all the functionality and travel destinations that you so wish, which is good. And that's another factor of being part of that group.
When you think about being a United loyalist, there are certain hubs and certain airports that definitely lend you to that. I'm Newark and Dulles. Other people might be San Francisco. Sometimes if one of those hubs is impacted, it directly impacts your members. I think about what happened in Newark a few weeks ago. That had nothing to do with United, but yet your members are uniquely impacted because that's a United hub of an airport. How do you handle that kind of a situation? What impact does it have on you?
Well, we do our best. That was a situation that was frankly out of our control, as you rightly said. But we unlike again the other two big legacy players in the US, you've got Atlanta and Dallas, and we're not there. So we're seven out of the top 10 cities in the US. Some of them are weather impacted. You've got East and West Coast and all sorts of scenarios. It's just being in the airline industry. But we are about. I think we're really good, and I think in our pre-conversation, Scott Kirby came out. we head these things off right off the bat. And it's about communication and transparency, and I think we're pretty good at doing that when there is an issue. And that's what happens in life, right? Sometimes these things happen, but we do our best to come around.
Every airline has their version of the top of the top. There's the Delta One. If the United, there's Global Services, but it's sort of a black box. Like, I don't know how much you have to spend. Nobody knows how much you have to spend to get to Global Services. What is the thing that gets you there? Is it being in the 1% of spenders? How do you determine who becomes Global Services?
No comment.
Wow. Okay. Well,
we don't talk about it. We don't publish it. It is an invite-only privilege. I mean, needless to say, obviously you fly a lot, and that's just going to help. But it's we don't talk about that.
Okay. One fun thing: of all of the United directs, which is like your favorite direct United flight to take?
Well, I haven't been, but I'm going to Cape Town in Thanksgiving.
Direct from where?
Direct from Newark.
And how long's that flight?
16 hours.
And what's your preferred snack?
My preferred snack?
Yeah.
I love the warm nuts.
The warm nuts are pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And the ice cream is great too.
I've never gotten ice cream.
Ice cream?
What?
Oh, ice cream with all the toppings. That's unbelievable.
What? All right, I got to book a flight to Cape Town. Richard Nunn, CEO of MileagePlus United, thank you so much. We appreciate it.